Hey, so I wanted to take a whole video just to dedicate to something that is huge in my testimony, but I feel like it gets swept over so quickly when I'm sharing it. When I went to file for a divorce, if you've watched my videos, you know that there was a lot of wrestling and within myself, with God, with the Holy Spirit, with getting a divorce, feeling like it was really the only way to move forward in my life. And at this time, this was the first year of salvation for me, like truly being like surrendered to Christ and reading the scriptures and praying and having a relationship with Jesus. So I listened to a lot of the Christian radio station. I knew all the songs that were on the radio. I knew everything that came out. But this song, guys, like, I never had heard it. And I'm on my way to the lawyer's office to file for a divorce after being separated from my husband for a year and a couple months. And as I pull into the lawyer's office, it's so loud, okay, before that. I wasn't paying attention to the radio. I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just wrestling within my spirit. And when I turned off my car, like the engine, and you know how the radio still plays for a little bit, the radio says marriage does not have to die. And later on I found out that it was the song Restore by Chris August. I had never heard that song until that moment. And I later on was able to look it up and read about it. And it's so funny because my oldest, his name is August, and the son that we had after we came back together, his middle name is Christopher. And so we have our own like Chris August in our family, so it's just really neat. And I've always like thought it would be so awesome if Chris August could know how much his song was used in my testimony. Like if he could just know like the Lord used it in such a big way. And I've seen where that song has been used in other people's testimonies, but for it to be like the Lord giving me one last like crystal, like marriage does not have to die, as I'm pulling into the lawyer's office. And so I just want to read the lyrics to you guys. So, nobody's growing old together. We've made it easy just to quit. Love has become a negative percentage. Why do we bother to commit? We've got a long list of excuses, ways we try to justify. Well, I promise you the truth is, and this is where it came on, marriage does not have to die. And right when that happened, I turned the radio off and I went inside. But thank God, we're not divorced. The chorus. I know you're feeling like it's falling apart and it can't go on anymore, but God is a God who knows how to heal. So give it up to the Lord and he will restore. He said, with this ring I promise, and with I do, she said forever. But right now, if they're being honest, they don't know if they'll stay together. Let's fast forward to the future. After struggling on their own, they finally figured out they needed Jesus in the middle. Now I'm watching God rebuild their home. The enemy tries to come and divide, trying to get us to give up the fight. But darkness will always lose out to light, because we've got the power of Christ on our side. I see you growing old together. I pray I find a love like yours. So if you're feeling like it's falling apart and you can't go on anymore, God is a God who knows how to heal. So just give it up to the Lord and he will restore. Like it was before, you may have strayed off course, but he will restore. It's just awesome. It's just really awesome because now I'm looking at it and I don't listen to this song a whole lot. Even after it happened, I didn't listen to it a whole lot. And I think it was like a couple years after we were back together that I actually went and looked up the lyrics. And so for it to say like, they finally figured out they needed Jesus in the middle. And now I'm watching God rebuild their home. I remember listening to it when I was living in Tennessee and just like crying in the car, like, oh my goodness. But restore, like that was also a word that was really always being brought up throughout the time that we were separated. Whenever I went to that one church and I did a video on this, the preacher who did not know my story, he comes up to me and he just keeps saying he's going to restore, he's going to restore. And at the time I did not know what that meant. I probably knew what it meant, I just didn't want to believe it. And then I remember being in the altar in Tennessee and this older lady come up beside me, not knowing my story. And this was like when we first separated, and her coming and putting her hand on my leg and her just saying, the Lord just keeps saying, restore, he's gonna restore. And I was like, yeah, I keep hearing that. But for that to be like a song that the Lord used is just really awesome, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And I'm gonna link it at the end of this video. So